Congratulations, we made it through another week. It's Friday, and today I want to talk about something that came up in a client session this week. I was doing an astrology reading for someone, and I have more recently started drawing tarot cards to go along with the birth chart or to kind of create a little visual diagram of either the birth chart or transits that are happening because astrology can be kind of a it's an esoteric language. We astrologers start talking about Pluto trine Uranus conjunct Mercury, and people's eyes glaze over, and I don't blame them. I couldn't do it in the beginning either. So I've been using tarot just because it's a nice anchor to look at and create more context than those, obscure angles and aspects and things like that. So the card that I drew for this woman was the Seven of Swords. And don't worry, you don't have to know tarot to appreciate this insight. And what that card is about, it's about sneakiness and like kind of having some underground tactics, maybe betrayal. And so when it comes up like for yourself, or in this case, it was for my client, initially I was thinking, okay, is there something that she's kind of hiding from herself, or some kind of, some kind of self betrayal? And there have been times when I have gone through a, string of just pulling that card myself and trying to figure it out. But what came out was really interesting. And it was this idea of thinking that you're getting away with something. and um and it was at the point where she had shared a little bit about what had been going on for her in the past couple of years, and she really had started working to live a life that was aligned and felt that it had meaning, was with people who she really enjoyed. She learned new skills. And so I could see, elsewhere in her chart where she she may start, giving in maybe to, to other people and other kind of forms of self betrayal. But I started thinking about comparing it to my path because we were similar in age, and I also really changed things over the last couple of years. And I remember, obviously knowing when I was when I had stopped self-sabotaging in the most loud and harmful ways, which were for me alcohol was the primary one, but also codependency. Um, yeah, just generally numbing so that I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel anything good or bad. And then just going back years, just yeah, there were other behaviors too that were self sabotage. Um, Again, they're not. They were in response to being in circumstances that I didn't have the tools or the experience or the knowledge to get myself out of, or because of the environment I was in, it felt too impossible, too shameful to try to seek help. So I went from that, and clearly, I once I got sober and started recovery, I wasn't doing those things. However, this card made me realize that there's a really subtle form of self-sabotage, and that is just not letting yourself enjoy the thing that you've worked for. So you're not, loudly or violently sabotaging yourself, but you're not letting yourself just enjoy it. And I have definitely felt that as I've gotten more in flow with how I want to live, and just, getting out of the structure that so many of us were indoctrinated in against our will, where, the white patriarchy and consumerism, one upmanship, um, all of that competition, that has just become irrelevant to me now. And I'm, creating this different way of living than we have been for the last, few hundred years, along with other people and other beings and the universe, because we're all creating it every day with how we show up. So, so I've been doing that, and but still, there was still something underneath, like I feel like I'm doing something wrong, or I I should be doing more. That's probably more accurate. I should be doing more. Um, and I really think, after having that session with the client this week, that what I was feeling was really that really subtle self sabotage of not letting myself just enjoy this and be in the flow with the universe. Um, and that's not to say that there aren't challenges, and that I don't still have to, use money to pay for my utilities and live in this, right now the air is getting kind of smoky. But generally, the way that I'm living feels so much more in flow and aligned with how I think we're meant to create our more compassionate, more connected, more stable and sustainable way of living with all the other beings on the planet, in the universe. So I just wanted to offer that to anyone else who might be feeling that, oh, they've made all these improvements in getting closer to living an aligned life, yet they feel that they should be doing something more, or that somehow guilty, even, for just enjoying it, or having that that flow, and freedom, because that's the other thing that I feel that I never had before. I feel this freedom. So I wanted to offer that, and just make sure that while we are working these questions, of life and recovery and creating a new way of being that doesn't destroy our planet and one another, let's just allow ourselves to enjoy it too. So I will leave you with that, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.